Hi, Portland Fire Rescue. I'm Jessica Cohn, your wellness coordinator. I have Brent Cervanias here with me today. We're going into your monthly wellness show. We're going to be discussing Brent's role with Portland Fire and a little background on his position and things that we want to communicate with you. And then we're also going to be talking on NFPA physicals and colon cancer. So hi, Brent. How are you doing?
Doing good, thanks.
Great. Thank you for being here with me today. So we're going to just start with, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background with Portland Fire.
Okay. Currently our liaison to FPDR, so mostly dealing with our team on injuries and disability claims, a little bit of retirement stuff in there too. I got hired in 2001 here with Portland, so been here a while now, and before that, grew up local area, did the Army right out of high school, did a little bit of college, and that kind of brought me to my timeline here with Portland Fire.
Tell us just a little, for those that don't know, but most hopefully do know, but a little bit about FPDR and your like how, as the liaison, the connection between you and Portland Fire.
Yeah, so we have police bureau has the similar position. So we have we have two retirement systems going right now. Folks that have a pension through FPDR, and then our PERS OPSERP folks, they're with the state retirement system. But we're all FPDR members for disability and retirement, all of our sworn members. That really is the bulk of what the liaison job does, is just assisting members with advice and information, and just working through that process. It's not anything anyone needs to remember. You don't really need to deal with it until you're hurt, and so that's where a lot of times folks could go 20 years and they've never been injured, and now got to figure out how to do the process, right? So the liaison role, my role is here to help assist with that and get you started and get going, and hopefully to claim approval on all of those.
And if someone gets hurt on duty, what would be something you would really communicate to them?
Yeah,
to make sure to do?
I think there's because it's a need-based thing. You don't need to deal with it until it's right in front of you. A lot of times there's a lot of unknowns and uncertainties in the program, but some confusion in just the range of administrative and bureaucratic requirements to go with it. So for example, like an injury leave or an injury report, everyone that's hurt on duty should do an injury report. Not all of those are going to be claims, and we don't even really deal with an injury report from the FPDR claim piece of it until you file a claim, and then it's part of your claim evidence. Of course, the safety chief goes through a review and looks at them all, but if you're hurt at work, you should always do an injury report. A lot of times members don't know that they're going to file a claim. They have 30 days to do so from the date of injury, and then if you haven't done one and you're thinking about it and you have to go back and do it, it's just more cumbersome and difficult. And there's a misunderstanding, sometimes that I did my injury report and that starts my claim. Injury report's its own thing. It's in our system, PFR only, and it should always be done. You're hurt at work, just do one. And then if you decide to file a claim, that's done, we can move forward, and that part of the record is there to support the claim.
What if it's a minor injury or just like little tweak or pain in the shoulder or knee or something, and someone's like, oh, I'm fine, like I can still work? Should they put an injury claim in?
Yeah, I would say the legal answer is always it depends, right? But in this case, I would say, yeah, err on the side of caution. It's not that much work or time to put one in. Sometimes it gets better, and that's fine, but you've still documented it. And if you have re-aggravate the same thing, 3 months down the road, you put a new one in, but you could also show, kind of some cause and effect there. And if you go back to that 30-day rule, how does that work? Well, you self-treated and you healed and you were fine, and now down the road I'm doing the same thing. So you don't have to put a claim in if you have an injury report in, but you don't know. That little nagging ache and pain, 3 weeks might not have gotten better, and you need to put one in. Well, trying to go back 3 weeks and ask your officer or your supervisor to go in and do an injury report, you lose some time distance between the date. It's kind of what happened, and it's always harder to go back and do it. So just put it in. And we do see members putting in injury report or injury claims for kind of lower strains and aches and pains like that. And sometimes it's just simply, you had a strain, you might even be returned to work, no time loss, and you just got it checked out, and that's good. Now you've got an approved claim in the books, and for a back, shoulder, knee, whatever it is, for those kind of nagging aches. And we all get them, right?
Yep.
But we don't always I don't think we've always been historically good about putting those claims in. So it doesn't have to be a severe critical thing, you know, if you're hurt and you just want to get it checked out, I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Starts, you got to have an injury report, right, in our personnel system. And then secondarily to that, your claim stuff with FPDR is additional documents in process.
Okay.
So.
And I found that even coming into this position new, I might have somebody that, you know, even if it's just minor, they tweak something up in the past, but they didn't claim it, and then it could have gotten worse over time.
Yeah.
And there's no like records, right, of that ever happening. So that would be why someone would want to make sure to get that claim in.
I think that's been a huge problem over many years, and just those, you know, if you didn't do it when it was a lower acuity nagging thing, and now it's this huge chronic thing, it's difficult. You know, we don't have a wear and tear presumption. Our backs all hurt over time, and this job certainly contributes to that. But you need a time date mechanism of injury, and if you waited too long, you know, sometimes that can jeopardize, to your point, can jeopardize a claim getting approved. So do it early and often, I would say.
Okay, good. And that'll help me to help the member. What would be our connection of positions?
Oh, well, that's a lot. That's a good question. So a lot of things. We talk about injury prevention. You know, you and I talk a lot about those things. Maybe a better question for you to answer. I could flip that on you.
Yeah.
Some NFPA physical things, some, you know, you're a point of contact for NFPA physicals, right? NFPA physicals can come into my lane from the FPDR injury thing. Then this probably is a good point to talk about issues of confidentiality, or what is assumed that you and I know or don't know, right? So an NFPA physical is just like getting a physical from your normal doc, right? It's between you and your medical provider. Nothing's released back to the city. You and I don't necessarily know when they're going. We might know if they went because they called and they're doing something. For me, it comes back in if something was discovered at your NFPA physical, say a presumptive condition or something like that, that you're going to file a claim for with FPDR. Well, then it's just like any other medical evidence, right? You're going to sign a release for your claim. That's going to be released to FPDR. I think there have been some questions about that from my lane on. I thought this was confidential. It is, like anything medically, but when you file a claim, medical evidence relevant to your claim is going to be released as part of that process. So, and that's true for the NFPA physicals, like it is any other treatment you would get with any other medical provider.
And on the confidentiality subject, that's where a lot of members will think, like you say, that I know they've gone up and done their NFPA. I have a list of everyone that's done it. I get reached out for that. And unfortunately, like, I would love to know if they've gone and have a list so that I can encourage those that aren't getting it to go, but that is confidential to the member and the crew, so that information isn't shared with me. And then even when an injury, that's the other big one, is assume that I'm kind of in the loop when an injury is claimed, or if someone has had to go off the line due to an injury that I know, and when they're returned back to the line that I know, and I don't know. Those, again, confidential to the member. So depending on how long they've been off, the only time I'll know is if it's 6 months or longer, and then their return to work process with me. So as we always encourage is for our members to, if they need help, to email or call me anytime.
That's a great point. There's we have a return to work policy, and there's some, testing requirements depending on how long you're off, and they come back through you. But we've also seen members come back, been off, 9 months for a shoulder surgery and all these things. Well, deconditioning happens, and you've been a great resource helping our members. You got to rehab the shoulder, but you haven't been doing anything else either. So the deconditioning happens, and you've helped folks, holistically. There's some other programs, work hardening and things like that. But you've also been a great resource on that, for folks with return to work and overall conditioning, right? So
trying, and a lot of it's just they got to reach out. They got to reach out to me so I can help them. And that's the other confusion, is that when someone has an injury and they go off the line, and they're working with you and FPDR on kind of the process, is I'll get reached out to for help then, and I try to explain to them I can't work with them until they're, they go through their doctor and PT and they're back on either light duty or back returning to the line. Then I'm that kind of helping getting them back from their PT, their strength back, and that's kind of the connection.
Yeah, it always has to be within their work restrictions, right? What they're allowed to do or restricted to do, we've got to work within that. And if you're off on injury leave for a service-connected, injury, sometimes you can't come back to work and do things. A little bit of a dance there, but we usually work one-on-one with the member, figure it out, right?
Yeah, great. So what I want to go into is your experience with NFPA Physical.
Yeah, okay. So I think this started out with, Janet Woodside, our occupational health nurse, sending out, a survey on a certain demographic of us in a certain age range on, if we've had colon cancer screening and interest in that and those sorts of things. The NFPA Physical may look at certain things based on your age too, so not everyone's going to get colon cancer screening. I just so happened to have been, had some other health things going on, so I had a colonoscopy when I was 37, and I've had them earlier and more frequently because I basically had a cancerous polyp, and they discovered that. I wouldn't have had a colonoscopy that young if not for another health issue that was going on, which was kind of not so big a deal in the broad scheme of things, but just had my third and clean bill of health. I'm 47 now, and my doc was sitting with me and he goes, when we found that 10 years ago, you probably, if you didn't have that, you probably wouldn't be here today. And I'd kind of thought about that, and so better to be lucky than good sometimes. And it's a strange medical circumstance there, but I also have a very good one of my best friends I was in the Army with, just a year older than me. He died at 40 from colon cancer, and he was too young at that time. We've moved the age a little bit to the left on when you should, and if you have other health reasons to do it like I did, that's obviously a good idea and highly encouraged. But one of my best friends, he's not here anymore, and I think about that a lot, and I'm lucky to be here. So if you have a reason to, or you're in the a medical reason that pushes you in that direction, or you're in the age range, just do it. It's one of those cancers that it's highly, we have presumption for that, but I think a lot of times with colon cancer, by the time you have it, it's too late. That's where, screening comes in, and it's preventable because we can detect it early and not, take care of it. So that was my experience. I could not be here today. So, I feel like it's important when you're eligible, you need to do it. So don't be afraid. Get it done.
Well, thank you, Brent, for being with me today. Is there anything else you want to communicate to
Yeah,
our
I
members?
think this is not the only video. We're talking about things the NFPA Physical could catch, but we have, presumption on a range of cancers, heart, lung, and kidney, and there's just other things that we've seen the NFPA Physical catch that members, because of the extra things that are being screened beyond a normal physical, that, we've definitely saved some members' lives. So I don't know that mine's exactly causal to an NFPA Physical, but that's the theme, right? Please get it done, and protect yourself and your families. It's an opportunity to potentially save your life.
Well, thank you so much for being here today and talking to us. And another point that I wanted to hit on NFPA Physicals is if you're having an issue scheduling, I'm the point of contact. So definitely contact me. If I don't, it's hard to help a member get scheduled, especially if it's been taking a while, or a crew that's having a hard time getting scheduled if I don't know. So especially if it's been a year or longer that you've been trying to communicate with me or CC me in the emails that you have with ARIA and OHSU, and that's how I can help get you scheduled. As always, if you need anything in relation to your health and wellness or NFPA Physicals, you can email me at jessica.cohn@portlandoregon.gov or call or text me at 503-713-9801. Thank you. We'll see you next time.